There are many similarities between Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus and Hugo Chavez of Venezuela. Apart from the analogous context in which each came to power, both exhibit leadership styles that have hindered democratization in their respective countries. Both have amended their respective constitutions to consolidate power within the executive and to abolish term limits. Both have stocked their courts and legislatures with supporters, and both have collectivized the bulk of their respective economies. Both ran and won presidency in a fair election on an anti-corruption platform. Of the post-Soviet states, Belarus is by far the least successful in terms of democratization. Following its independence in 1990, the Belarusian government strove to make gradual reforms to its collectivized economy in the midst of a political vacuum. During this time, civil society flourished. These reforms were half-hearted, however, and led the Belarusian economy to a state of emergency. Public discontent led to the addition of the post of president in Belarus in 1994. Lukashenko, who had previously been the chairman of the Anti-Corruption Committee of the Belarusian parliament, ran and won presidency by an overwhelming majority in what was deemed a free and fair election. Upon his election, reforms came to a halt. The collectivist state control system that Belarusians were comfortable with was reinstated and civil society was suppressed. President Hugo Chavez similarly came to power in Venezuela during a political and economic crisis. Beginning in the 1950s, the Venezuelan government began to crack down on economic freedoms and increasingly violated private property rights. In 1998, frustrations with the economy led to an easy victory for Chavez, who, like Lukashenko, campaigned as an outsider to the corrupt government and who promised to change crooked policies. Unconcerned with economic reforms, his first moves once in power were to transform the courts and legislature into branches filled with his supporters, a move Lukashenko made in 1996 when he arbitrarily amended the constitution to dissolve a parliament that was threatening to impeach him. Neither have participated in a legitimate election since their initial win, and both have successfully amended their constitutions to abolish term limits, the only thing blocking them from ruling indefinitely.
Instead, was more of the same.
From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank my supporters and congratulate them on our victory. And as for my opponents, I have to inform you on the saddest of occasions for you that you will now have to deal with the acting president for at least another 5 years.
Both presidents have gone to extreme measures to limit civil society, to suppress free speech in the broadcasting media, and to eliminate political opposition. In 2010, Lukashenko was re-elected president in what was deemed a sham election lacking transparency, followed by massive violence by security forces against peaceful demonstrators. Further, political activists were arrested, including presidential candidate Andrei Sannikov. Occasionally, he'll release them to appease the West for sanctions due to the election. Chavez in 2004 passed the law of social responsibility in radio and television, which makes it illegal for broadcasters to propagate information that will promote, defend, or incite breaches of public order or are contrary to the security of the nation. Such vague language allows for harsh repression of private journalists. Minimal reporting on social issues is permitted, however, as this allows Chavez to deflect some international criticism. Lukashenko and Chavez have each voiced their admirations for the other's methods. For example, in 2006, the same year Lukashenko was sanctioned by the United States and the EU for a faulty election, Chavez praised Belarus as a model social state like the one he's trying to create. In 2010, Lukashenko visited Venezuela and similarly praised Chavez's reforms. Each has implemented economic policies Marxist in outlook. They justify their policies by claiming to defend individual interests against the hegemonic capitalism of the United States and the European Union. Chavez and Lukashenko have each collectivized the vast majority of their respective countries, leaving both plagued with collective actions problems that leave the populations dependent on their leaders. Both leaders came to power in a window of opportunity for democratization, and instead of following through with their anti-corruption platforms, imposed authoritarian legislation and practices. Moreover, Lukashenko and Chavez have effectively suppressed opposition and moved their economies away from capitalistic models, deemed the reason for their economic woes in the first place. These two countries will not democratize until their authoritarian leaders are successfully deposed.